What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Forfeit Fatherhood podcast. I am your host, Rod, and man, so the podcast, dog, I feel like every time I do it, I give you guys a different intro, and I got to get to a point where we just have that normal stock intro. Where welcome to the Forfeit Fatherhood podcast, where we talk about the four pillars of fatherhood with faith, family, fitness, and finance. Not in that order. All right, any one of those things could be at the top of your list, depending on your situation. But typically, we get together, me and one other dad, or maybe a couple other dads get together, and we talk about fatherhood. We talk about finance. We talk about some of the things that are going on in our relationships and in our quest to be great fathers, right? And so I got to put together one of those, right? For those of you that listen, I'm gonna get one. It's gonna be like a canned intro that you guys hear all the time. But for now, man, it is just me. Why is this so bright? The lighting thing, right? Like I did this last time. The lights are crazy. That's too dark. Anyway, so let's catch up, right? So since the last episode, I was in the like podcast studio last time, and I decided that I'm gonna just do it in the office. So I'm in the office now. It's almost Christmas time, so you see we got the little Christmas pillows, and office has changed a little bit, but officially in the office, and this is where I'll be shooting most of the episodes from now on. I just feel like it's a business room, right? And we handling business here. This is man business, father business, and so it should be treated accordingly, right? And so um, for this episode, one second, I'm missing something. Something is missing. There it is. This is what happens when you record live, baby. You get stuff all mixed up. Internet ain't hooked up all the way. There we go. So I'm gonna have to edit that out or something, right? Nah, y'all get to hear it straight up. So the internet cord was disconnected because my daughter was using her computer on here. So dad life, right? So I saw my face like kind of moving slow, like I was talking, but the words weren't coming out. So I got to hook it up directly to the internet to make sure things are quick. But catching up, man, since the last time I was on the episode, not much has happened. I mean, we're getting closer to Christmas. Holidays are coming up. Whatever holiday you celebrate is coming up. Doing some Christmas shopping. Really, really cool now. Now, especially since the pandemic, like a lot of the shopping we were doing is online. Like I haven't really been into a store too heavy yet. Except I bought my daughter some shoes on Nike.com. I bought them some shoes. I thought I knew their size. I went in the room, looked at the shoes, bought the size that their shoes in their room say. Shoes get here, don't fit. Weird. So then I try to go, try to take them back, and then you're going to take them back online, and you got to go ship them, and again, it's a whole thing, right? So I just go to the store to return them, and at the store they don't have the size, so now I got to send them back. It's a whole thing, man. So look, if you're gonna be ordering stuff, make sure you know everybody's size, and like you can't really surprise them because you'd be wrong, and then they got to wait forever to get them again, right? So yeah. So anyway, I talked about on the last episode about like my daily routine and morning routine, and it kind of got off a little bit because I've been substituting, right? Like my kids are back in school, and I work from home. Most of what I do is virtually, right? I do online personal training where I help busy dads lose weight without having to spend hours in the gym or starving themselves. And so that's what I've been doing, right? And I've been going hard at that. But with my family, my wife is at work all day now because she's gone back to work. My kids are at school all day. So I'm just sitting at home bored. So I was like, you know what? I got this teaching credential a while back. Let me see, let me go ahead, not credential, sorry. I took the test, I guess, CBEST. So let me go ahead and, I don't know, put it to use, right? So I was coaching at the high school, and they were like, hey, we need subs. It's crazy. We had, so here's how crazy it is. The day I talked to the lady in HR was a Friday. They had 80 teachers in the district call off. 80 teachers in the district call off. I went to just go talk to her about the possibility, and she gave me she was like, look, I can hire you today. We'll expedite all the paperwork. We'll give you the long-term sub rate, which is, 20%, 30% more than what the normal rate is. Whatever, like, we can get you, guarantee you a position to the end of the year. Like, it's a mess. So guys, if you're sending your kids to school, good chance that they're having a sub at least once a week, which is tough, right? Which is tough because the sub comes in, they're just kind of managing things. But anyway, so subbing for PE, eighth grade PE, which is cool. You would think that'd be right in my wheelhouse, right? And it kind of is, but it isn't, right? Because I mean, I've dealt with athletes almost 100% for the last decade and a half. And so general population, kids that don't play sports, that don't like to run or like do anything, was a struggle, right? You got a bunch of nons in the class and nobody's an athlete. You got one or two athletes. For whatever reason, this school is like almost no athletes. So they don't want to do anything. They're complaining about dressing out. It's too cold, it's too hot, whatever, right? So I made a decision to just get out of that, right? So I did it for like 2 months. And then, middle of this week, I was like, you know what? This is a waste of my time. Not a waste of my time. I hate saying it. The kids are not a waste of my time, but my time could be used more efficiently and more effectively on something else. Especially since lately, like my thing has been time management and time mastery, right? That's the whole reason why I came up with the routine, right? The morning routine, the nightly routine, setting a schedule, having a plan, attacking each day. And so once that started to conflict, I had to get out of it, right? And this is something I think a lot of people struggle with, is like you make a commitment to something, right? And then you hold on to it to a fault, even though, it's not serving you the way it should. And I've gotten to a point in my life now where I'm just like, I've given up 2 6-figure jobs for something else, right? The first time I gave up, a 6-figure salary was to be a father, right? Like there's a no brainer. And then recently I did the same thing. Like, it was like, look, I didn't realize how much time I was not spending with my family until, work was not around anymore. And like, dang, no matter how intentional I am about the time that I spend, I'm only spending a couple of hours. I need to figure out something different so that I could be around and be present and be available. Doesn't matter how much money they pay me. If my kids aren't getting what they need from me, if they aren't getting the father that they deserve, then the money doesn't matter, right? All the nice things don't matter if they don't have their father, right? It's like think about like Austin Powers, and like singing that song, his daddy wasn't there. Austin Powers, an international man of mystery, has a magnificent life. He's a spy, right? Everybody wanted to be a spy at some point. He's shagging chicks left and right, cool car, cool house, singing songs, right? But his weakness, his father wasn't there, right? That whole Austin Powers, the second one was all about fatherhood, right? Like, yeah, Mini Me and Dr. Evil, yeah, Austin Powers and his dad, like, the whole thing was fatherhood. But it was, no matter how amazing his life was, his issue was his father wasn't there. And so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing that, and not because of the movie, but I just realized that I wasn't as available and present as I needed to be for my family. And so I decided it was time to end that, right? All of that to say, like, so I think we have to ask ourselves a very serious question. And this is kind of something you ask yourself right now, right? But almost on a daily basis is like, who are you? Like, who am I, right? When your alarm goes off in the morning, who are you, right? When it's time to get up and you don't want to because you're comfortable in bed, the heater is on, it's warm and it's cozy. Who are you in that moment, right? On the good days, of course, like, it's easy to show up and be your best, to do all the things that you're supposed to do. It's probably because you have motivation, right? That's the easy stuff, right? But that's not the person I'm talking about. That's not the who I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the guy that pops out of bed, the sun is shining, dogs are barking, birds are chirping, life is great, right? Not that guy, right? Because anybody could be that guy, right? I'm asking about the who you are when you're not motivated, when things aren't going the way that you want them to, right? I want to know who you are when you're tired, when you're sore, when you're beat up, when you're stressed out from all the craziness of work and dad life, right? Who are you when the stress builds up, right? When your kids are going crazy and not sleeping, they're sick, they're just not acting right. Like this week, my youngest daughter got bit by a mosquito or something. Her whole foot, her whole leg swelled up, looked like a loaf of bread. We had to take her to urgent care. Urgent care wasn't open. Had to go to the ER. Like, who are you in those moments, right? Who is that guy, right? You have to ask yourself, who are you? Because that's the authentic you. That's the real you, right? Because when things are going great, everybody's the same. Everybody is excited when things are going great, right? But who are you when stress builds up? Who are you when your job is demanding longer hours, right? They want you to work more time. You got to, oh man, you got to work some overtime, right? When a dude at your job or the lady at your job or so-and-so at your job is getting on your nerves, right? Who are you in that moment, right? Like when the deadlines are coming. Like when I was in marketing, when I first got out of college, I was in a marketing firm doing business to business sales. And, things were always smooth until the deadline, right? We'd have a deadline on a Saturday, right? Which is crazy because most of the people that we work with weren't open on Saturdays, which kind of made it cool. But that meant Friday, the pressure was on. People are stressed out. Everything, nobody's taking lunch on Friday. Like everybody's working hard. You know what I mean? Overtime, the building is off. I mean, building is shut down, but the lights in our floor are on. It was crazy, right? Who are you when you're stressed, right? I mean, who is that guy? I think you have to ask yourself, who is that? Right? Who are you when your marriage is on the rocks? Right? And your relationship at home has started to suffer a little bit. Like, who are you when you and your old lady are beefing? Right? Y'all got a little issue. She's always right, you're always wrong. You know how that is. Right? She might be wrong, but she'll never apologize. Right? Who are you in that moment? Right? Who do you show up as then? Like, who do you become? Who are you? Right? I think a lot of us are like not aware of who we are. Just like I wasn't aware of how much time I wasn't here. Like I felt like I was here a lot, but I wasn't. Like, who are you? Right? When a resistance is hitting you in the face at all angles, like if you're put your head out the window and you're driving 100 miles an hour, when all of that is in your face, who are you? Right? Because what happens when all of that, like when everything is going wrong, right? Instead of going right, most people go left. Most men go left. Most men kind of cower and they become the weakest version of themselves. When things are going wrong, right? Instead of like standing tall, bow in your neck, putting your chest out, face to the sun, a lot of dudes cower away. They go hide, right? They do, things that they're outside of their character. They do things that don't benefit their family. They do things that don't benefit their job, don't benefit their workplace, right? Like who are you, right? Like if you can't seem to get the results that you want, right? You don't the lack of results you can't seem to obtain in your life reflect upon who it is that you show up in or show up as, right? Like if you're not getting the results you want, it's probably because you're not who you think you are, right? Like with my weight loss clients, right? Like a lot of the guys I work with, they aren't like stuck on the couch or in a bed, 600 pounds, can't move. Like a lot of these guys are working out already. They already know what to do in terms of workouts. They maybe not exercises exactly, but they're going to the gym. They may not have an actual workout program. They may be doing chest on Monday and like, you know what I mean? They might be doing one of those programs. They know what they should and shouldn't be eating. It's no surprises. Like they know, right? But they aren't who they think they are, right? Like they think that, I go to the gym. That's their identity. I go to the gym, but you're not eating the way you're supposed to. You're not working out the way you're supposed to. Like they're not completely lost. I'm not like their savior, but I show them a better way, right? But they can't get the results they want because they're not showing up as the person they need to be, right? If your marriage has become rocky and your wife isn't respecting you like you would want her to, it's probably because of who you're showing up as, right? Like ultimately everything kind of boils back down to who you are. And that's why I say it's always important to work on yourself if you want to improve things in your life, right? Like if you want to be the best possible father you can be, you have to be the best possible you can be, right? And I used to say the same thing when I worked with athletes is like, look, I am not going to help your son hit a fastball, right? I'm not, that's not my job. I'm going to make him the best possible athlete he can be. And if he has the skill on top of that athleticism, he's going to be successful, right? Like, I'm not going to do anything to change the way your son's jump shot is coming off his fingertips, but I'm going to help him jump higher, run faster, be more agile and injury resistant. That's going to make him a better athlete. Now, a better athlete with the same jump shot is a better basketball player, right? And the same thing goes for you, right? If you're not showing up as who you want to be or who you think you are, and showing up as some kind of alter ego of yourself, then you can't expect for your relationships to work well. You can't expect for you to be the best father that you want to be or the best husband that you want to be, right? If you're struggling to be present with your kids because you're so tired and run down, like, you can't be the father of the year, right? And I don't want this to be like where I'm preaching about weight loss, but I think that's a thing, and obviously I'm entrenched in it. But it like, if you're struggling to be present with your kids because you're tired and run down, because you're 10, 20, 30, 40 pounds overweight, is it because of you? Like, it probably is, right? Like, it is because you are not showing up for yourself. You can't expect to show up for somebody else if you don't show up for yourself. It's something my wife says all the time: is you got to fill your cup first. You got to put your mask on first. Like, when you're on the airplane and they give you the directions and lays up there with the buckles, right? And they're putting the buckles together and they say, in case of emergency, oxygen masks will drop from the ceiling. Put your mask on first before you help anybody else. And the reason they say that is, if you don't have your mask on, you pass out trying to help people, and they don't have their mask on, now everybody's passed out, right? Everybody's on the ground and can't breathe, and nobody's saving anybody, right? So somebody has to put their mask on, right? Sometimes you have to do the work on you, the deep work. Right? You have to do the things that you need to do, whether it be, weight loss, or you might have to deal with, your healing from your past, past traumas, past relationship issues, fatherhood issues, things going on with you and your father. Like, if you're trying to, in a quest to be the best title, whether that be father, boss, employee, husband, brother, cousin, you have to be the best you first, right? If you're quick to complain, like, most guys aren't complainers, right? Vocally, but we'll complain about stuff kind of in our heads. We get these issues, right? If you're quick to complain when stuff doesn't go right for you, it's probably because you don't show up when things get tough, right? When what they say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right? When things get difficult for you, instead of complaining, do you show up as the person who can overcome those difficulties? I mean, I think that's what we have to start. We have to start asking ourselves these questions. So I ask, like, what is your alter ego? Is your alter ego a coward? Does your alter ego shy away from adversity? Does your alter ego stand up tall? Right? You want to rise above average and be great, right? Like, I think, and this is more of a question: do you want to rise up above average and become great? Do you want to live a life and lead a legacy? Right? Again, these are questions you got to ask yourself. If those two things, like, if you answer any of those, either one of those two things with, I want to rise above and be great. I want to be a great father, a great husband. I want to rise above the BS that's happening. I want to live and lead a legacy for my kids. I talk about legacy on one of the podcast shorts. Legacy, legacy, legacy. If you want to leave a legacy, then you got to be great when times matter most, right? When things, again, everybody can be great dad when things are perfect. Everyone be a great husband when everything's going right. But when things are going wrong, can you still be a great dad? Right? When things are going wrong with you and your lady, can you be a great husband? If things are going wrong at work, can you come home and still be a great dad and a great husband? Or are you bringing that with you? Right? Who are you showing up as? Right? I think, and that's kind of like, again, it's a common thing. Like, you're not alone. You're not the only one. It's a common thing. A lot of dudes do this, right? But I read a book a long time ago by Tony Dungy, Uncommon. I think that's the title of it. It's something about uncommon, right? And I think for a lot of us, we have to ask ourselves, right? What would an uncommon man do in our current situation, right? Because like I said, the common man typically cowers away, right? And maybe that's a societal thing, and maybe that's not you, right? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're one of the guys that toughens up and stands tall when things get shaky, right? I feel like I am, but I know a lot of guys aren't, right? If they didn't, wouldn't have so many fatherless kids, wouldn't have so many divorces and all these things, right? I'm not saying they're your fault, fellas. I'm not saying they're your fault, but I'm saying in those situations, who did you show up as, right? If you showed up authentically you and the best version of yourself and it still didn't work out, then you're okay with that, right? You shouldn't even be offended by me saying it, right? Because you were who you were supposed to be. But if you weren't, right? If you weren't, then that's something that you got to work on, right? So I ask myself all the time, right? When in certain situations, these things come up all the time. It's like, what, like people used to wear the bracelets, like, what would Jesus do? I ask myself a lot of times, like, what would an uncommon man do? Like, what would somebody who stood up in the face of adversity, what would he do? Like, what would his thing be, right? And the answer is he does uncommon things, right? He doesn't cower away, right? He doesn't quit. He doesn't make excuses. He does the work and he doesn't complain, right? So yes, as an uncommon man, you got to be relentless, right? You got to be relentless about taking the time to map out your day and have a schedule. Like, you have to be like unrelenting in the fact that you have things planned, right? And this is something that I struggle with when I first started doing this, is like putting family time on my schedule, putting date night on my schedule, because you feel like those things should be spontaneous. Like, I just want to spend time with my family. But here's the thing: if you don't schedule them out, right? If you don't schedule date time, you don't schedule, I'm playing with my kids today. They get home, we get home at 3:30, from 3:30 to 5:30, we're just playing, right? If you don't schedule it, other things will creep into that time, right? Like from 3:30 to 5:30, I'm supposed to be playing, but now I'm checking email because they're not really paying attention, or I'm on the phone, or they don't. I'm not playing whatever play they're doing right now. I don't really matter, and that's, I'm gonna watch a show. And now, what was supposed to be very intentional, purposeful, present moments are getting kind of washed away by other things, right? So, you have to be relentless about your schedule. You have to be relentless about mapping out your day so that you're prepared and ready to dominate, so that you can give full focus to each thing on the schedule, instead of like having them all blended together and showing up for each thing kind of half-assed, right? Like, be who you're supposed to be completely all the time, authentically and unapologetically. Did that the wrong way. It starts over here. Unapologetically. Right? You have to, like, we're talking about the nutrition, right? And I talked about guys earlier, and like, they're already kind of eating healthy. They're already working out, but they're not dialed in. They don't know exactly how many calories they're supposed to eat. They don't know exactly how many sets and reps are going to accomplish their goal. They don't even know how much weight they're supposed to be using. They just know, I can lift about this much, right? But if you want the results, right? If you want the results, and I use that because it's an example, most of us have been athletes before. At some point in college or in high school, you work towards a max, right? They had you maxing out. Or if you play sports, you had a goal, right? Your batting average, you wanted to hit a certain amount. You wanted to have a certain amount of home runs. You wanted to have a certain amount of tackles, or a certain amount of rushing yards per game, or you want to throw a certain amount of touchdowns. Like, and then because you have that number, you know what you need to do per game. Like, if I want to have 100 tackles at the end of the season, it's going to break down to 10 per game. Now, if game one, I only get 6, now I know I got to add on 4 across the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Because I have an idea, I have a plan, and I have a presence of mind of how I want to get there, right? When I work out, I'm not working out just for the sake of working out. I have a plan, right? So even when I don't want to go, when I don't feel like getting up, because I go at 4:35 in the morning, when I don't feel like getting up, it's in my schedule, right? Like, if I open up my phone and I see my schedule and it's not there, or like I didn't do it, I'm like, damn, I missed that, right? Like, I'm not going to be able to check off things in the order, right? So So if you are like me, right? And I hope that we can all be, and that this eventually changes from us being the uncommon to being common, right? From us that are unrelenting and relentless and attack our goals and are disciplined and have a life that's disciplined, that's like backed by discipline. Like discipline is the backbone of what we do. We can get the results we want. We can be the father we want. We can be the husband we want. We can have the success in the businesses, right? And and we just don't talk about it, right? We aren't just like giving lip service to things, right? We're actually taking action because we really want those results. Like we really want to be the best father. We really want to be the best husband. We really want to be the best, I don't know, boss, entrepreneur, employee, right? So we do the things that we're supposed to do, right? It's simple. It's simple. Your alter ego keeps you true to your word and follows through with your action, right? Who you say you are and your alter ego, your superhuman alter ego, you know, it keeps you intact, right? Otherwise, you kind of cower away and be, be a little soft, right? We don't want that. So there's no room for excuses when you want results. Again, if you're trying to be the best father you can be, and I always say this, if you're listening to a podcast about fatherhood, my guess is you want to be the best possible father you can be. If you like or love fatherhood, like I love fatherhood, you want to be the best father you can be for as long as you possibly can. And there's no room for excuses if you're looking for results. You can have one or you can have the other, but you can't have both, right? You can't have excuses and results. You can't be the best husband you want to be and be like, well, I'm gonna cheat on my wife. You know what I mean? You can't be the best father you can be. And then when you're spending time with your kids, you're on your phone the whole time. You could be a pretty good one. You can even be a great one, but obviously not the best that you could possibly be because you're missing out on that time where you can be present. And again, you got to be honest with yourself. Who are you showing up as right now? Are you showing up as 100% daddy or 70% daddy? Because 70% daddy is better than a lot of kids who don't have their dad at all. But it's not the best that your kid can possibly get. And don't we all want the best for our kid? Right? So, who are you going to choose to be? Right? You can be like everybody else and just be. And it's something. It's funny. My wife says this all the time. She's a therapist, and she's obviously a woman. Her friends are women. Her sisters, cousins, women talk, right? And she does some couples therapy, and she just she's in the industry, right? And forget her, just us. We know when you're out with your kid, people are like, "Oh, daddy duty. Would you babysitting the kids today?" Like, dog, I'm a father. I'm not babysitting nobody. These are my kids. You know what I mean? Like, it's not babysitting when they're your kids, right? The expectations for us are lower, is what I'm saying. Just being around, right? Picking the kids up every once in a while, like going out in public with your kids is like people like blown away, right? You put your kids to sleep. Like I got daughters. I do my daughter's hair every once in a while. People are blown away. I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? You want me to let her come out the house without her hair done? You know what I mean? Like these are just normal things. This isn't like an uncommon. This is not just normal stuff, right? That's why I say I want the uncommon things to become more common, because for us, for men, like those expectations on men are like go out and hunt, right? Bring home the bacon. And anything else is like, oh my God, that guy's so amazing. I'm like, dog, I'm just doing regular stuff. Like I'm not special, I'm doing regular stuff. And I have different level of expectation for myself. I have a different standard of who I want to be. And it's because of what I've experienced in my life and what I decided I want to be, right? And I've taken action to become that. And and so, yeah, maybe it seems uncommon right now, but my goal with this podcast and my goal with all the things that I do with fathers, even in the weight loss sector, a lot of what we talk about outside of like, okay, would you hit your numbers this week? Did you get your sets and reps? Did you go to the gym? Okay, they didn't have that. Let's adjust this. Or you don't like this? Let's adjust that. It's like, oh, dog, how was your daughter's game this weekend? Oh yeah, how was that? Okay, cool. Like it's dad talk. You know what I'm saying? Like we're building turning the uncommon man to the common man, one man at a time, right? One episode at a time, one, social media post at a time, like changing the narrative about who fathers are and what we're capable of, right? Be uncommon. Join me, right? Be uncommon. Be relentless. Be the father that, and this is something I said, and it's kind of, to listen to it and hear it say it twice. Be the father that you needed, right? And you can hear it, be the father that you needed. So either be the father that wasn't there for you, that you needed to be there for you, or be the father that was there for you, that you needed to be there for you, or be both, right? Be better, because that was his goal. His goal for you was to be better than him, right? And as I can speak for myself, my goal for my children is to be better than me, right? Whatever I've accomplished, I want them to accomplish more. So whether your father was present or not, at some point in his mind, he wants you to be better than he was. Don't be me, be better than me, right? So that's what I'm asking you to do. Be better than the one before you. And if he was great, then you got big shoes to fill, homie. That's it. You can't go backwards, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I walked to school, my father got a car. His father, I talked about that last week. It's like that, you know, I can't think of who it was that said it, but just talking about the next generation being better than the generation previously. And our goal is to make what is considered uncommon as a father to be common. But that requires us to not make excuses for ourselves, not settle for less, to raise the bar, to raise the standard, to go out and push the envelope, to set our schedules and have our plans, like have our life in order so that we can go out and be the best father we could possibly be, right? All right. So I'm gonna wrap this up, but again, so I mentioned on the last episode that time mastery, time management, scheduling thing, having like how to create your perfect daily routine, your powerful daily routine. I am still in the process of putting that together. Doing the substitute thing really threw me off time wise, schedule wise. I have, I would say probably 90% of it already done. There's some checklists and some worksheets and some things for you to do to create and set up your own individual, because everybody's going to be different. There's a blueprint, there's a template, but your schedule is going to be a little bit different than mine because we have different responsibilities. But in this ebook that I wrote, I'm kind of showing you guys how to create your perfect, powerful daily routine, so that you can be as effective and efficient a man as you could possibly be. And then once you're an effective and efficient man, you can be an effective and efficient father, husband, business owner, employee, whatever that means, right? So that should be done. Look, I would say sooner, but my computer is in the shop. Making excuses, right? That should be done no later than next Friday. So the next Fatherhood Friday, that should be out. I'll probably tease a little bit of stuff, that's in it, kind of give you guys like the inside look at what's going on. It'll be live by next Friday, which I think is the 17th, Friday, December 17th. It'll be live. You'll be able to click the link, go and check it out. I'm gonna do some special stuff for that. Let you guys, get it for next to nothing. All my hard work and all the hours I put in, I'm gonna let you take advantage of it because it's important. It's important work, especially going into the new year. I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to start working on building out your schedule. Because here's what happens every year, new year, like December 31st at 11:59. Somebody sprinkles magic on the world and all of a sudden everything is brand new and we start all over. We know that's not right, and that's not true. So what you can do now, right, is start planning and start preparing yourself so that when we change years and it's 2022, you're already set up. It doesn't matter about the new year, new you. You've already started working on yourself. You've already started creating the perfect, powerful daily routine so that when you wake up on January 1st, that routine is already in place. You're already taking advantage of every moment of every day. You're already able to be fully present in each thing that you do because you've already mapped out a schedule, a plan. You're managing your time. If you're talking about, wealth, you can't manage millions if you can't manage minutes, period. Right? So you have to have a schedule where your time is accounted for. You can be the best version of yourself if you can maximize the time that you have available. We all have the same amount of time, right? And I don't know the exact number of minutes, but you see it all over the place. We have the same amount of time every day. I have the same amount of time as Jeff Bezos, but Jeff Bezos got $70 trillion, right? He got tons of money. We got the same amount of time in each day, but sometimes he's making more in a minute than I am. Sometimes he's making more than a minute than I am all the time, right? He's capitalizing on the time that he has each day. And that's something that we can all do, right? All right. So again, thank you guys for joining me. Appreciate it. I will update you guys as we go. Again, Friday, December 17th, 5 p.m., Fatherhood Friday. I'm going to drop the creating your own perfect, powerful routine. Your powerful routine will be out. That way it gives you guys some time to, about half the month to work on preparing your routine so that we can take 2022 and become the best you for 2022. I said it first, man. If you hear anybody else say that, they stole it from me. Be the best you in 2022. Holla at your boy.